Good to go.
Yeah. A very good evening to everyone here in South Asia, and good afternoon to people in Middle East and Europe, and good morning to people in Americas, North and South. I, Gurneet, Director at Environmental Design Solutions, welcome you all to this online session where we will be taking questions from all of you regarding the upcoming LEED GA prep course. And we also have a panel discussion with two of our senior GBCI experts. I will just introduce to them in a bit. So let me, along with me, I have got Deepa from our team. Deepa heads the Sustainability Education Initiative at EDS. And we have Deepti with us, who is Director Middle East Market, GBCI, and Gaurav Makhija, who is an Associate Director, Market Development, North India.
Hi, everyone.
Yes. Without taking much of your time, let me just introduce Gaurav Makhija. It's always a pleasure to introduce Gaurav, as we both started our career at the same time, and over the years this professional relationship has transformed into a personal one. Gaurav is an Associate Director, Market Development, North India Market at Green Building Certification Institute Private Limited, GBCI. He has more than 15 years of experience in green building design and energy efficiency in India, Bangladesh, and other Asian countries. With a keen interest in sustainability, energy efficient buildings, and carbon management, Gaurav's professional experience includes working on sustainability auditing to LEED certification for various factories, hospital projects, commercial projects, hospitality projects, and international schools, some of them like American School, British School, American Embassy School. He is also has been associated with various international organizations for sustainability, and has also attended training at UN Habitat, Geneva, and Alliance Bern, Switzerland. So Gaurav, I welcome you and thank you for taking time to be part of this session. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Gurneet. I'll just start. You can see the slides.
I hope
Deepa?
you have the. Not yet.
Yes,
Yes,
Gaurav.
we can see that.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. First of all, thank you so much, Gurneet, for the kind welcome and for your kind words. I'm taking care of the market development for North India, and I have with me my colleague, Deepti.
Hi everyone, this is Deepti.
So I'm representing GBCI. GBCI, as Gurneet mentioned, is Green Business Certification Institute. We are based out of India, and we have a lot of offices across the world. Our headquartered office is in US, and we have offices in Middle East. So Deepti is representing the office in Middle East. We have offices in India, and we have a large team. So as you can see, we have a couple of team members who are heading the various regions as I take care of North India. So we have the team members who look at South, East, West, and Gopal is heading the team. He's managing director in Middle East. So our team in Middle East also reports to him. So as we see that there are various rating systems that we have, and not only LEED, but GBCI also looked as now a global certification and credentialing body. So we exclusively ensure projects, certifications, and professional credentials for Peer, Bell, Sites, Edge, Smart, GRESP, through ICP programs all across the globe. So as our discussions are limited and we are majorly focusing on LEED BA today and LEED GA. So I would like to also introduce about the LEED rating system, which is the leadership in energy and environmental design. So LEED is the most widely used green building program in the world. LEED provides a framework to build safe, healthy, smart, resilient, responsive, efficient, and sustainable buildings and communities. LEED is globally recognized a standard for the green building standard and widely accepted across the globe. LEED has also been in the market since 2000, and we have come a long way. So LEED has been evolving, and it's as I mentioned, it's a global rating system. But also, it provides local and regional paths for projects to achieve certification. Now we are in the version of LEED V4, and there is a greater recognition of regional context that we have, with the incorporation of regional and local equivalent standards or programs usable to achieve the same intent, which means that we also looking at local standards. We also look at ECBC, we are looking at ISHRE, we are looking at NBC from the context of Indian perspective, but also from other perspective in terms of global rating system. We are also looking at regional standards across the world. So LEED is virtually now working for all spaces in the V4 version, which means that it has now 21 different market adaptations, from commercial offices to convention centers, from homes to hotels. LEED works for all spaces. With LEED V4.1, we have expanded our wings to cover the large scale developments such as cities and communities. So, we started off, our discussion is majorly for education at USGBC. So we look at credentials, and we also looking at a program how we would be able to impart and become knowledge partners for various organizations, and we work very closely with the consultants. So with EDS, EDS is our education partner, and also the team has USGBC faculty. So we look at how the entire system can be developed. So what happens is that there's a three-level LEED credential system, which is basically you start off with a tier 1, which is a LEED Green Associate, and then from there on you can take a specialization, which is a tier 2. You become a LEED accredited professional in various specializations, and once you have a certain number of experience in LEED AB specialized courses, and you would be able to go ahead with a LEED AB fellow. Minimum 10 of experience is required, and you would require some references and recommendations from the colleagues in the industry. So what we have done is we have done also market surveys to understand how LEED BA and LEED AP credentials help the various candidates, and what we have come to know is that almost 71% of the hiring decisions were maintained that the LEED credentials and LEED BA or LEED AP have helped them in increasing the competitiveness in the market. Also, around 85% of the LEED professions believe that these credentials have also given them a competitive edge in the market, which means that it helped in them in hiring of the job market. So what we thought is also to give a context in terms of how we are placed globally and in terms of India, and obviously my colleague Deepti will take you through in terms of the Middle East market. So we are really proud to say that LEED is a full-scale global rating system, and we have more than one presence in 167 countries, and we have more than 100,000 projects registered and certified, the participating projects. And in terms of number of projects registered in terms of built-up area is around 21.5 billion square feet. But the most important thing is the number of LEED professionals, the partners, the people who actually work on the ground in terms of getting these projects certified are more than 200,000 globally. But when we come to the Indian context, uh, numbers are around now, the number of projects that are participating is around 3,000 LEED projects. But in terms of the LEED professionals, right now the number is very low, which is around 1,000 LEED professionals if you see globally. And considering the scale of the number of projects that are going to come in the future and ongoing construction, we feel this number is really low. So we work very closely with our education partners, with EDS and with our USGBC faculty, would be imparting these sessions and exam prep, and we're looking at numbers going higher because students are also taking these lead DA examinations from home as well as the working professions. So recently, because of the COVID and because of recent lockdowns, uh, the USGBC and Prometric had taken a joint decision where we are able to offer now the LEED, DA, and AP examinations online, which means you would be able to take the examinations from the comfort of your own home with the facility that you need to have certain requirements of your system, and obviously you need to have internet accessibility. So you would be able to immediately take the examination, and I feel that once we are able to conduct these sessions from the ES team, you would be able to achieve at least attain LEED GA immediately. So what we'll do, I'll give now the session to Deepti, who will take you through the context of Middle East and how we are able to help our candidates and people in the Middle East market. Over to you, Deepti.
Thank you, Gaurav. Thank you, first of all, to the team at EDS, Gurneet, Deepa, for making this conversation possible. My name is Deepti. I'm Regional Director, Market Development, GBCI Middle East. To those of you who already know about us, there's nothing much to say beyond thank you very much for all the good work that you've been doing in the region. To those of you who are yet to hear from us, we are a very small team based out of Middle East. We cater to the requirements of 8 countries predominantly in the year 2019 and 2020. In the coming years, we also want to support our operations in North Africa and the rest of Middle East. We work very closely with clients, consultants, education partners, all our USGBC faculty based out of the region and beyond. That's where EDS also comes into the picture to offer that value-added service in terms of education in the capacity of education partners. Next slide. Coming to the overall LEED certified projects as on September 2020, end of September, we have nearly 282 LEED certified projects in UAE, around 64 certified projects in Qatar, and 54 certified projects in Saudi. So UAE, Qatar, and Saudi are some of our biggest markets in the region, and overall in the Middle East, we have nearly 2,101 participating projects and 448 LEED certified projects. Coming to the total number of LEED credential holders, UAE also tops the list with nearly 2,200 LEED APs and LEED GAs. And overall in the Middle East, we have nearly 4,204 LEED credential holders. We've seen that in the past so many months of the COVID lockdown, we've seen tremendous increase in the education demand in the region, for which we've reached out to EDS to also facilitate LEED more training sessions in the near future, and we believe they'll be supporting us with that. But yes, as my colleague Gaurav mentioned, it would only be beneficial for professionals to acquire the credentialing, as well as for graduating students to add more value to what they can bring to the table, be it in a new job or be it in their ongoing studies. A credential always takes center stage while in a professional environment, or whether it's a resume in action. Next slide, please. Some of our leaders in the region, I don't want to call out many names, but we just wanted to give you an insight into what is it that we've been doing. We work closely with all the ministries. We work at city level. We also have the first LEED Earth project under 4.1 that's certified. We also see an increase in the demand to certify retail and interior design spaces under IDNC. So we have contractors, consultants, fit out contractors for interiors, all of them working with us. We also see that there's a huge demand for existing buildings and cities and communities to be certified. So that basically, again, plugs back into Gaurav's slide on LEED works for all spaces. Next slide. We've been very passionate about education, and until the lockdown, we've hosted various in-person sessions. Some of the shots are from Saudi, some in the UAE, some from Jordan, some from other regions in Saudi. So we've been there physically. We are reaching out to universities. We're reaching out to corporates. We're working very closely through green building councils such as Kuwait GBC, Qatar GBC, Emirates GBC in the UAE. We also work with MEFMA, Middle East Facility Management Association. So we work closely with a lot of entities, and definitely education is important for the region per se. Also, when it comes to credentialing, yes, LEED, AP credentialing, as well as GA credentialing is very, very important. Next slide, please. With the COVID lockdown, there was a necessity, a requirement to reimagine the way education was conducted globally. And I think in the Middle East, we've had some very good faculty, also to mention EDS, who also came into the picture precisely around the time and started extending support through our office. I'm sure they've had Middle East and global candidates work with them in the past, but we started our collaboration around the time, and with the goal of reimagining the way education is delivered. We've managed to reach out to nearly 1,500 participants through our faculty and through our education partners. So many congratulations to your team as well, Deepa, for making this happen. Now over to the EDS team for a continuation of the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Deepti. Thank you, Gaurav, for this insight. And one thing about Deepti is that she believes that one small step towards sustainability is a giant leap for mankind. So thank you, Deepti. Now over to you, Deepa. She just to introduce her, she is a part of USGBC Faculty, which is a global network of credible, qualified instructors, teachers, and facilitators. So she has got deep expertise in and passion for sustainability education. Till date, she has conducted, I don't remember, but dozens of online and live workshops, and has trained probably more than 500 participants. So Deepa, may I request you to take the participants through the schedule, the format, and the takeaways of this course. Over to you, Deepa.
Thank you so much, Gurneet, for the introduction. And yes, welcome. I also would like to welcome everyone who's tuned into this webinar today. And we are very happy to conduct this program, introducing you to what we have planned for the 2-week online course for LEED GA exam prep. But first, I thought I'd give a little sneak peek, or make it very brief as to who our who we are as a team, as an organization. So here on the screen, you can see a picture from our head office in New Delhi. Of course, kind of locked up at the moment due to COVID. EDS was established in 2003. Now we are a team of 65 plus professionals, including architects and engineers, and we've worked on more than 400 plus projects with a cross section of green building certification to policy and research to high performance building consulting, commissioning and auditing, training programs, and so on. This is just some of the photos from our training programs. In a nutshell, as a team, we have conducted 100 plus training programs for various organizations, from corporates like Infosys, Godrej, and so on, to educational institutions, to government organizations like Delhi Metro Corporation, and so on. We've also developed more than 70 short, self-paced courses which are online, and and we have also in this year especially offered 4 online certificate courses in a blended learning format. This is like a combination of live and self-paced, and like Deepti said, the online education has kind of taken on a new say a shape in the COVID times, and we were able to quickly adapt to this because we have been conducting a lot of programs even before COVID came up. This is just some of the 4 courses that we have floated in this year. LEED GA exam prep is something we've already offered 2 times, in June and August. And we've received great response for this course. Like the 2 batches collectively, we've had 168 participants, with about 80% professionals and the other being students and faculty. It kind of gives you an idea onto the peer group that you will be a part of when you come on board. Diversity in the peer group is also important because you get to network with individuals even beyond the program. These participants have come across the world from 14 countries, and yes, India does have the maximum participation, spread across 40 cities in India. And the feedback from participants have been really great, and that kind of reinforces the fact that we have designed a program that meets the needs of working professionals and also students who are who have full-time course load. So either you're a full-time student or a full-time professional, it can meets the need of both the learner groups. And so we're really happy that the thought that we had put into this program has also given us the feedback from participants on the same lines. It has been very effective for them to learn from the 2 week of the content that we give them, and some of the scores here that you can see is evident that these are just some of the participants from our previous 2 batches who scored 190 plus. This is out of 200. So you can see these stellar scores that participants have scored for the GA exam. And the content that we have is self-sufficient, and it's more than adequate to prepare you to nail the exam. So this 2 week online course will start on 26th October, that is next Monday, and will continue until 8th November. That makes it a 2 week of schedule. And over these 2 weeks is when we will handhold you through learning the content through 2 webinars a week, which is scheduled, and a live interaction just like this one. There we'll also show you some LEED projects, exemplary projects from our EDS team. And we'll also do some Q&A with the instructor. And then we'll also give you 5 video lessons, which is to be taken at your own pace. So that's how it combines the live session with the self-paced session. And over these 2 weeks, you will also take about 100 plus quiz questions for practice. Now, since the exam is that of a multiple choice, it really the whole practice is, surrounds taking as many questions as you can. And so we've prepared a lot of them so that you feel that you're absolutely prepared to give the exam and pass the test in first shot. So after you finish the 2 week of online blended course with us, you will be given access to unlimited practice test in week 3. You have access to this for a good 2 months after the course is done. And these unlimited practice tests is something we have specifically developed for the program. It's a question bank which is online, and it's like a simulation of the actual LEED GA exam. It's timed. There are multiple choice question, exactly how it would be in the exam. So you have a feel for actually taking the exam. And there are unlimited, you can take as many tests as you want as long as you feel satisfied. And there are 500 plus questions in our bank, so there's plenty in there to help you polish your concepts and make sure that you're confident for the exam. There is also, of course, a phone app for this, so you may even not an app, but it's like optimized for mobile. You can even take it on the phone as well. So this is something you have access to over a period of 2 months. And we feel that you need 1 week of intense practice for this. And with that, in week 4, you will be ready to nail the exam and score like the way our participants from our previous batches have done. Now, once you pass the exam, you also have access to 5 GBCI continuing education credits. You need to earn at least 15 credits over a period of 2 years to maintain your GA credentials. So as such, GA credentials don't expire, but you would need to maintain it. It is a way for you to show that you're staying current in the industry and just keeping yourself updated with what's, with industry specific knowledge. So you have access to even 5 credits by signing up for our program. So in a nutshell, you have plenty of takeaways, unlimited practice tests in our question bank, which has more than 500 questions, 10 course modules, weekly live webinar with interaction with the instructors, and also get to see case studies, reference study material for reading, and access to 5 GBCI credits post the exam. So that is my last slide, and I thought I can just throw in a surprise for everyone who's taken the effort to tune into this webinar. If you've not yet registered for the webinar, you can use, we are happy to offer you a 15% discount over the fee for the course. And the link to this will be there in your chat box. And you can access the link and register for the program. It's just valid for 1 day. So I hope you will do that and come on board and make sure you're taking that step closer towards earning your next credential. Right, so that is the end of my presentation. So over to you, Gurneet.
Yeah, thank you, Deepa. Thank you for sharing the takeaways and the course and other part of this. Yeah, so now I think it would be good to start a panel discussion to shoot questions to Deepti and Gaurav both. And after the panel discussion, we will take questions from the participants. So if they have any questions, you can either put it in the chat box, or you can raise your hand after the panel discussion, and we will unmute you. You can ask your question directly to Gaurav, Deepti, or to anyone of us. So I think, Deepa, let's just start the panel discussion.
Yes, right. So let's start with the discussion. So, Deepti and Gaurav, you gave us a very good overview of GBCI and the whole, building industry, the context of where the building industry is, and lead projects in India and in the Middle East and otherwise. The first question I'd like to ask you, something that we always get asked in spite of us knowing the spread of LEED globally is that, Deepti, to you, I can start with you. How does being a LEED Green Associate add value to one's resume?
You know, Deepa, thanks for asking that, you know, very valuable question to begin with, because at the end of the day, everyone, no matter how valuable it is, people are constantly under the notion that, you know, we have no time to write an exam, or, you know, we have to study so much for it. People generally tend to shy away from this whole examination concept. But on the contrary, what we see here, by working very closely with universities, by working closely on lead project teams, with lead project teams on lead projects, we see that it's not just about writing an exam. It's about the process that you get into, the commitment that is required out of you, and the knowledge that you gain on the way. So it's an
Right.
entire journey. And once you accomplish that goal, that particular accreditation, let it be LEED, let it be AP, definitely adds a lot of value, not just as a credential after your name, but it really questions your intellect along the way and prepares you to work as part of larger project teams. You're equipped with everything, and the only thing that's remaining is for you to go out there and say, I'm ready, I'm equipped, and I can take on the challenge. So that's what it prepares you for, right? And that being said, yes, does experience matter? It does, but a credential is a credential at the end of the day, and how you prepare for it, and all those scores that you mentioned are commendable, right? For people to show that level of commitment and to achieve that kind of score, especially given all the other commitments, work related, family related, everything that's there. This is really commendable, and that should be the way forward.
Great. So what I hear is, at the end of the day, a credential does establish some kind of credibility for a professional, and establishes the, it in a way, it shows what knowledge they are proficient in. So, Gaurav, continuing on that, at least in the Indian context, there are so many rating systems in play.
Yes.
So, with the credential, what do you think is the significance of LEED rating and also the credential in Indian context? Because it's primarily a US based system.
Yeah. Thank you, Deepa. This question I've been actually answering for the last 10, 12 years. From the time I've been in this field, I always have to answer why a US based rating system. But to clarify again, it's not a US based rating system, it's a global rating system now. It's a full scale rating system, and it started almost 20, 25 years back in US. A lot of I would say volunteers came together, and they were actually identifying how the sick building syndrome was taking over the US buildings that time. And they felt that the need for a green building rating system was required. Now, what we have done is that in last 20 years, we have developed this various versions. And as I
Hmm.
mentioned during our session, that now in the version 4, we are adapting to the market requirements, to the local requirements. And what we do is now, rather than we saying that is a US-based rating system, we say it's a local rating system. There are a couple of other rating systems which are there in the market. But what we do is that any candidate, or let's say any project which goes for a LEED certification, would be able to have the same benchmarks, whether it's in India, whether it's in US, whether it's in Brazil, or whether it's in China. So they're using the same benchmarks, but there is also possibility to have ACPs, what is the alternate compliance pathways, which means you're also using a local rating system, a local standards for the similar kind of requirement. So that way, you are also looking at a stringent requirement, whether it's a local or whether it's a global system. Now, when it comes to any candidate, if they're looking at LEED accreditations, or let's say LEED AP or LEED GA, a lot of Indians look at US universities or universities outside India. Once they go for a LEED GA or a LEED AP, there is always likelihood that they would get shortlisted for the Ivy universities, and they would get selected for that. So a lot of candidates at early stages in their life, when they're at the initial stages in their career, look at a LEED G or a LEED AP credentials at initial stages of their career.
Right. Thanks, Gaurav.
No.
So lead is global, and then so if that's on your resume, it just means that you understand the global scenario much better, including the
Absolutely.
Indian context.
Yes.
Maybe Deepa, you can stop sharing your screen so that people can see full screen.
Sure,
Uh,
sure. Yeah.
so now coming to Deepti, in Middle East market, do employers demand or look out for lead professional credentials in their future employees? So when a job posting is there, do that contain that preferably lead GA or lead AP credentials? So what is the scenario there in Middle East?
Absolutely. So I would say that any sustainability job that gets posted, be it from a consultant side, be it from a contracting side, be it from a management consultant's side. Like I used to work for Ernst & Young before. So EY, PwC, KPMG, any of these management consultants to even architectural and engineering firms. So the outreach and the spread is quite wide there. We're looking at a larger bandwidth. And the minimum sustainability qualification is that the person should either be a lead GA or a lead AP and understand a lot of other sustainability criteria alongside. But in terms of an accreditation, I would say that LEED accreditation even today holds the highest value amongst all of the other required credentials that are posted. So to put that very straight. And even and that's not just a scenario for the Middle East. I would say that that pretty much translates to the rest of the world as well. If we look at even upcoming nations where sustainability initiatives have just opened up, right? And to say that, to give you a specific example from the Middle East, in the last 1 year, we've seen that Jordan, of all the countries in the Middle East, has can boast of the highest number of LEED credential holders, especially for 2020. In
Okay.
terms of percentage growth of credentials, they have massively grown. But if you look at the number of projects that are certified in Jordan, may not be very high. So what the trend that we can predict is that while the rest of Middle East is actually, UAE has a significant number of credential holders, but that is fairly proportionate to the number of projects also that we see onboarding. But in all positive, in a positive note, we can say that Jordan is preparing for the years to come by first building capacity in terms of accreditation, and then moving on to more projects. So ideally, that's a very organic way of growing. While in the rest of the Middle East, we have projects and we have professionals, and everything happens simultaneously, which is also good for us. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, so it is not just for architects or the people in building industry. It is, in fact, every team. In fact, that's what we observed. So we were part of this National Museum at Qatar. There, for every team, whether it's a interior contractor or it's a civil contractor, they have a lead accredited professional whose responsibility was to take care of those credits specific to their domain. So I think you are right that there is a great demand for
Yes.
lead. Uh,
Also to add on to it, we see that multiple lead teams work on these large projects, as you correctly mentioned. The contractor side specifically handles about 15 to 20 credits, and
yes.
lead professionals on site are specifically hired to look at those many credits, while on the consultant side, they take care of all the design credits. And then we have the set of consulting firms who only focus on existing buildings. And for them, it's a quick turnaround period in terms of projects, in terms of revenue. So for them, existing buildings are very important. And especially with all of the ESCO projects that are now being funded by the government. There's a super ESCO, there are smaller ESCOs that's formed under it. And each of these ESCO companies want lead operations and maintenance professionals to work alongside facility management teams to take care of all the operational requirements of the building, performance monitoring and all that. So it's very diverse, and it's a beautiful mix of professionals working together, right?
Okay, so
Yeah.
there is a huge amount on the existing building side also, right? Where they are looking at the operation. So that's interesting. So Gaurav, how's it for the Indian market? I mean, what's your take on that?
Yeah, so Gurneet, as you must have seen the numbers, the number of projects are actually three times the number of lead APs, professionals in India. So number is really less in India. So what has happened in the last couple of years, the market in India is maturing. And what we have seen that lot of our clients now have sustainability or let's say lead in their DNA. To name a few is Infosys, ITC, DLF, DMRC, GMR. So now any new project or even IOCL, POCs like IOCL or ONGC. So any of the new projects when they even go for a new, let's say, a bid or for a proposal, they now have started looking at professionals and a requirement either in a from the design side or even from the PMC side, they would look at a lead AP as a minimum requirement from the sustainability perspective as a sustainability professional. So what is that has done is that it has pushed the market. There is now a requirement as a minimum requirement that's prerequisite for anybody even to pitch for a proposal. So what it is doing is that it's pushing people to take lead GA and lead APs. From the developer perspective also now from a long time a lot of consultants were working very closely with the developers, but very recently the developers also have started having their sustainability officers, which is looking at a large portfolio, maybe from a design side or even from an operation side. So there also they may look at a sustainability professionals who has a minimum requirement of a lead AP. Uh, Even we have a lot of facility management teams who are now looking at the LEED V4.0 ONM
Mm.
certifications, to name a few, CBRE, JLL. And these are those professionals who are either facility managers or property managers. And they are able to go ahead with the LEED certification of either the non-certified properties or a recertification of the existing certified properties. So the client is also asking their facility managers, property managers to have the lead GA or a AP accreditations. So things are moving, but yes, I would definitely accept that the numbers are low, but these numbers will definitely change with the help of EDS and other teams.
No, I agree with you that it is things are moving. In fact, for past couple of years, we have received lots of query where the contractor, as Deepti was saying, that in Middle East, contractor and subcontractor all have a lead AP or lead professionals in their team. Over here also now all the RFQs from the contractor side also demands that they should have a green building consultant, certified
Right,
green building consultant
right,
on their team. So from the construction side, so Deepti has said that the ESCOs there are they want people with O&M's credentials. Is there anything from the construction side, whether the people on the construction do they need to get some kind of credential, or do they does the lead credential helps them in executing the design on field?
right. So, Gurneet, even from the construction or let's say from a BD plus C projects, there is a requirement that all the projects now look at lead AP on the team, either from a PMC, from the contractor perspective, or even from the architect. So, before joining GBCI, I was working with a sustainability engineering firm, and before that, I was working in an architecture firm. So normally, when we were pitching for either a commercial interior project or even for large projects which were infrastructure-based projects, to name
Right.
a few, let's say large communities, when they were in the design stage, definitely there was a prerequisite for having a sustainability professional on board. And as we say that the candidates used to get shortlisted on the basis of whether they used to have a accreditation, a LEED AP or a LEED GA at the initial stages when we used to pitch for our projects. So definitely in the construction field also, this requirement is now becoming mandatory.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Thanks, Gaurav. Continuing with professionals in both the construction side and operation side, often, like you saw, that we have 80 plus people who are professionals who join our course. And that is the case with different course topics as well that we conduct, and not just GA. Now, one question we get asked very commonly is is GA relevant for a mid-career to senior level professional? What have you seen in your observation? Is it relevant for someone who's had a lot of experience on the field? Would they still pursue a lead GA? Is it relevant for them?
So Deepa, to answer that, a LEED GA credential is best utilized by graduates to mid-career professionals. And this is a discussion that Gaurav and I were having earlier today on how is it that we can encourage mid to senior career professionals to actually take that bold step and get LEED accreditation, right? The AP accreditation. So LEED GA, yes, as a starting point, there's no doubt about it, and it's also a step towards being LEED AP accredited as well. So we cannot deny that. But the expectations out of a senior level professional is to at least have all the intent, methodology, the requirements, resources of each of the LEED credits and prerequisites fully embedded into their thought process, right? So that's crucial for a manager to know. While LEED GA gives a very good blend and a good overview of what the LEED rating system looks like, for somebody to be able to actually manage a project, we think that LEED AP accreditation is very important, and one should not stop at LEED GA.
Sure. This is something we sort of tell on the same lines to those who are having considerable experience and they still they're kind of considering, should I do this, should I not? And we, just like you said, that it helps you give a very high level understanding of what LEED is and helps you manage a project better. You can probably just ask the right questions to your team members, and you also have certain expectations in place because you know a little bit about LEED now. Great. So, now that they are on board and they take the GA exam and they become a LEED professionals. So, Gaurav, maybe you can throw some light on how do you become a LEED fellow? Because now we have a very experienced professional. Probably something like that would be more like a gradual process that they can look at.
Yep. Yeah, I think, thanks, Deepti. I think that's something which is on my radar to become a LEED fellow in next couple of years. I think we are very fortunate that even I think Gurneet also wants.
Yes,
So,
thank you.
yeah. So we are very fortunate that Tanmay, who we consider the godfather of our green building industry in India, he's a LEED fellow, and obviously it requires a lot of experience to be there. It's like a PhD or a doctorate in LEED, and you need to have a minimum experience of 10 years. You need to be there. You need to do a certain number of projects to achieve this, and obviously you need to get some reference from your colleagues and from the LEED fellows who are there. It's a very stringent process. Mostly people who have done achieved let's say 10 years of LEED AP experience, they are qualified to actually put an application. Once your application is put and you get a reference, there is a stringent process of selection, and it goes through entire process. Your application gets scrutinized, and after that you are able to achieve a LEED fellow. So normally it is a process which will take at least minimum 10 years of experience to go there. and at least me and Gurneet are targeting that in the recent years.
Great. Thank you. That gives a good clarity on what's next to look forward to. So for emerging professionals, Deepti, what's the path forward from GA to AP? Because there's so many options in AP. So when they're just starting their career, we get asked this question that no, should I choose this? Should I choose that? I'm not too sure. What do you suggest to them? What's the path forward?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, and we get this very often actually. What track should I write my AP exam in? Should I pursue BDC? Should I do O&M? What should I do? So, I don't know if it's my personal view or if it's a very general feeling, but I feel that the operations and maintenance exam is easier than BD and C. I'm not sure, but I always encourage people to choose the difficult path. I ask
Okay.
them to do the BDC first and then the O&M, to do both. If one had to pick and choose, I would say that if you're an architect, then just close your eyes, do your BDC. Now we've also launched the LEED Cities and Communities Advisor Certificate. It's not like a proper AP accreditation, and it's only in the launching stages. But if that's where the interest lies in master planning, to pursue that, or a LEED ND accreditation. But operations and maintenance, is the way forward, and there's no denying that. And for somebody with a design background in architecture to embrace that language, I think O&M exam is also very critical. It takes you slightly onto the facility management edge, and it pushes the boundary there as well, where you probe a lot into energy, what's source energy, what is site energy, all of those EUIs and consumption perspective. So you tend to look at your building life cycle in a holistic manner, not just from a construction perspective or from a design perspective. You also know the implications of your actions in the early stages of your projects throughout the operational stages. So that is ideally a loop that we are also trying to close with, our operations and maintenance certification, not just the accreditation, but also from a project perspective. And if that translates to an accreditation, then what could be better, right? You basically have somebody who knows it all, who can manage the building right from inception to handover and beyond.
Right. Great. Thank you so much. I think that answers some of the questions that participants have. And we've covered, actually, this panel Q&A that we have has covered a lot of questions that participants have. And there's one question that I thought I'd ask you, but similar question has come from one of the participants who's raised hand, and she'd like to ask on her own. So let me check. Saloni, would you like to ask your question to the panel? You can unmute yourself.
Yeah, hello. Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, loud and clear.
Firstly, thank you so much for organizing this session. So I have a question regarding the credit points. I wanted to know that how to earn the credit points apart from the exam that the GA exam preparation course that you all have organized. What is it about?
You mean the credential, right? The CE, continuing education credential.
Yeah.
Is that what you're asking about?
Yes.
Right. So after the exam, so yeah, that's the question. How do you earn the CE hours?
Yes.
And what are the ways to do it? Anybody would like to take it up?
So yeah, I think I'll take that up. Saloni, so I'm also a lead AP, and so what happens is that it's a continual education, which means that CERs have to be maintained. A lead GA has a certain number of CERs, which is basically 15, and for a lead AP, you require 30 CERs. Now the thing is that you can earn these CERs either working on projects which are going for LEED certification. If you are a part of the team which is attempting a LEED certification, and you would be able to get certain CERs from there. Let's say if it's an O&M project and you're a part of that team, you would be able to achieve certain CERs, showcasing how you were involved in that project and what was your role in the project. So you can achieve the CERs. Also, like EDS, also offers certain courses which are available on education at USGBC. You can attend those sessions, and also after attending those sessions, I think you have to go for a quiz, and you can achieve those CERs from there also. And there are other certain ways. So the idea is basically in the once you are able to achieve a LEED GA or a LEED AP, you need to maintain those CERs through these continuing education programs. I myself have to maintain, even being a part of the USGBC GBCI team. So we also have to maintain that either we participate in certain green builds, we are speakers, we are doing certain, even if I'm a USGBC faculty, I need to conduct certain sessions. So that's the idea, that as the rating system is also evolving every year, there are the various versions also coming. So even the candidates who are there who have earned their LEED GA or AP, they also need to maintain their education through these aspects.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Gaurav. So as I can see, we have covered most of the frequently asked questions, and I also see some of the questions which again has been covered by the panel. So won't be taking that from the audience. If anyone has any more question, feel free to send in the chat box, or you can raise your hand and ask questions just like Saloni did. I have two course specific questions here which we can take. One is, does the course fee include the exam fee? So no, our course does not include the exam fee. That is to be paid separately. You'll register for the exam after the course is done. Our course prepares you for the exam, so you would need to pay the $250 fee when you register for the LEED GA exam. And another question is, the quiz at the end of the module will be like a mock test with questions on the format of actual LEED exam. So we've tried our best to create that environment which is very close to the actual GA exam. So you will get a feel for a timed quiz, multiple choice answers, and then you can flag the questions, and then in the end you can assess the score. So yes, it will be very close to the environment of an actual LEED GA exam. And then let's take this, I think.
Fees. So if you're a student, then the examination fees is $100.
That's right.
And
That's
if
right.
you are a member, the examination fees is $200. You get a $50 discount, right?
Yes. Yeah. Members get a discount. That's right.
Yes.
So, and I think we'll take this one last question from Saloni again. Saloni, would you like to ask your question?
Sure. You know how Deepti ma'am just explained the way forward for architects after the GA exam. Can you give a similar explanation for NEP design engineer?
Sure. Saloni, thanks for asking that question. I think for MEP specifically, O&M would be more applicable. Apart from, BDC gives you a full overview of what the building is and how is it that you can design it efficiently. So if it's up to me to decide, I would do BDC and then O&M. But if you'd like to work on a project immediately and you'd like to be accredited prior to that, then go ahead and do the O&M accreditation. Both have their own merits, but if you can do both, nothing like it. If you need to choose quickly, do the O&M first and then go ahead and do the BDC. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You are on mute, Deepa.
So that covers our last question. So I think we've come to the end of the session today. Gurneet, would you like to add anything before we wrap up?
Yeah, I just want to thank Gaurav and Deepti for to be part of this program. I think it also cleared lots of doubts from the potential participants. So again, thank you from EDS.
Thank you so much for
Thanks.
everyone
Thanks.
taking your time out and for all the attendees as well. So see you in our course next week.
Thank you. All the
Thank you.
best.
Thank you. Yep. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.